Alright guys, back with another NIO update, or NIO, whatever you guys call it. Now in this video, what I'm going to do is a high-level technical analysis, identify some key patterns. Let's talk about what's going on today and possibly for the future as well. By the way, if you know anyone that calls it by the name of NIO, I left a link below. Check it out. It's a link to Republic Services. It will find a local landfill for them where they can take that garbage with them. Now before I get started, smash that like button, hit that shit, and then on top of that, comment below if I missed any details or anything that you're personally seeing on your technical analyses. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel. What you get is weekly uploads from yours truly. Also, disclosure, I'm not an expert. This is just for informative purposes only. You make your own decisions with your hard-earned money. Enough of that. Let's get right into the video. So here is NIO. And this is the last 180 days for this company. So as you can see, again, I mentioned in all these videos, we've been doing a good job of staying above this 180-day green SMA line. I like to use a 180-day green SMA line. It's really up to you guys. Also, the software I'm using is called Thinkorswim. Check the link above. I will show you the whole 9 yards on how to get started. Again, we're staying above this green SMA line, and I'd argue that it's getting tested right now, right? So we tested it majorly the last following week, right? And now we're testing it again, right? So let's see what can happen next. So that is more of the bigger picture. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer here, guys. Let's go to the 10-day, 30-minute chart. Like I said, this is the last 10 days for this company. So look at it as 2 weeks. Again, as you can see, we've been somewhat appreciating, and now we're starting to come back down. What's going on? First thing I'm noticing right off the bat is a key head and shoulders pattern. Let me know if you're seeing this as well. This just caught my eye just before making this video, and I'm curious if you guys are seeing this too. So let me draw that in for you really quick here, right? So I'm seeing a neckline, and actually it's at an angle. So let's go about right here. I'm seeing a neckline. If you guys can see this red line about here, right? And I'm seeing a head right here and some shoulders right here. Now, if this is a head and shoulders pattern, head and shoulders patterns are typically reversal patterns, okay? So it's reversing off the last price movement that came before the pattern, right? So before the pattern, we had positive price movement in this area over here, right? So if it's a reversal pattern, it's likely going to come out on the other side with negative price movement. Doesn't mean it has to happen. Let me prove it to you, right? Clear drawing set. Now, if you've been following my videos, I'm gonna go back to the bigger picture, 180-day chart. That's what we're sitting in right now, is a head and shoulders pattern. We successfully broke out of it. Yes, it's a major reversal pattern, but again, it's just attesting to the fact that patterns are just there for references, right? So again, here's that old head and shoulders that we saw really quickly here, right? Head, shoulders. This is where it gets tested on that far right side. It tested, it didn't break through, so the trend continued on, right? So it served more as a continuation pattern. That's typically not what these are unless it's a reverse head and shoulders pattern. Now let's go back to the 10-day chart. I want to show you one more pattern that I'm seeing. Now, if it's not a head and shoulders pattern that we're seeing, I'm also seeing a potential bullish flag pattern. Now, a bullish flag pattern is known for being a continuation pattern, right? So anything before it, right? So before this, let me draw it in first. So it makes a little more sense here. So that flag, I'm seeing it about there, right? We're seeing lower lows and lower highs. Typically with these, they'll get tested and then break through the top, which is the resistance level. Now, this is a continuation pattern. What does that mean? It means, again, what was happening prior to general net positive price movement. It's bound to continue again beyond this pattern. This pattern is more of a checkpoint. It's saying, hey, this is what I've been doing. Let's try something else. And if we can continue that, then I will break through you. If we can't, then we're going to identify something else. So again, just for references, just something I'm quickly noticing again on that 10-day chart. Now, let's talk about today really quick as well, right? Majority of the day, we just had a huge sell-off. Me personally, I bought in a few more shares towards the end of today, so the price was looking very good to me. Again, probably could have waited longer. You never know, but again, we had a huge sell-off. I was hearing through the comments today, it's possible that some of this was alluding to the whole Jack Ma thing with Alibaba. So their stock tremendously took a dump today, like 13%. It's the largest that company has ever seen since going public. Pretty substantial news, and as you can imagine, it impacted the Chinese market quite a bit today. So that's possibly some of it. And then on top of that, again, we're having a lot of market uncertainty, a lot of consolidation in the market across all indices because stimulus checks are unknown and COVID is unknown as well. So pretty crazy world. But again, set your alerts, be cautious. So again, the day, pretty straightforward. It sold off. Nothing too crazy I'm seeing here. Now you know it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. You know it's coming. You know it. You see it. You feel it. The volume profile indicator. Right, so I'm going to put that guy in here real quick. Volume profile, man, I love using this thing. Again, just a reference. Doesn't mean anything. You can be completely wrong, right? So it's just telling a story. So again, with this profile indicator, for those who are new to the channel, the price likes to gravitate. So look at this. These are sideways bars, okay? Just think about high level. Sideways bars. Wherever these peaks are, right? These mountains, right? These big bumps. That's where price generally likes to gravitate towards. As you can see, this indicator has been doing a pretty successful job of staying within the vicinity of where most of this volume is, right? Makes sense. It's attesting to the indicator. Again, doesn't always have to happen. Now, with these gaps here, these typically can leave opportunities for quite a bit of price movement, right? It's usually a jump or it's a gap down. It could be a multitude of things. It could not happen at all. Again, just a reference. So just something there so you guys can learn a little bit. So here's my prediction. If it does go bullish, and I think you guys want to tune into this a little more because this is just giving you more of that security blanket, more of that safety net on what could possibly happen if it starts to become more bullish. So again, like I talked about, we saw that head and shoulders pattern really quickly here. I'm going to draw it in. All right. Head and shoulders pattern, okay? Now, I believe it's getting within the vicinity of where it would typically test around this head and shoulders pattern, which is generally about here, right? Now, if it can get down here, right? Let me clear this study out. So again, head and shoulders pattern is typically a reversal pattern. So it started out positive, hit the pattern, and then it's going to result negative. That is, again, typically the case. Does not have to happen. I proved that out on the 180 day. Anyways, if it does test here, which it likely will, I want to see if it breaks through. Now, if it breaks through, I think very worst case, it's going to test a couple times on its way down. It's not just going to go straight down, right? So I think it's going to test quite a bit. Now, this is playing devil's advocate. This is very, very, very worst case scenario, and I'm talking to the next few days or whatever it may be. I don't think it will get any further below this $39.50 mark. I really don't. This has been an extremely strong resistance point. And just to prove it to you further, let's take a bigger step out, right? 180-day chart. This is where we identified that neckline, right? That $39.50 mark. Again, the neckline is just a support level for head and shoulders patterns. And look at that. I mean, it has struggled over time to consistently break through there. It is, I mean, easily 1, 2, 3, and that was a huge stop right there, right? 3. What's next? But again, it triple bottom off that. It struggled so much at this level. I think that is the very worst case, and that is, again, that's assuming we're consistently selling off in series, which is very unlikely, but it is the stock market, so who knows? It might happen. Now, let's talk about some potentially good things here, right? So what could happen in the positive direction? Now, for this, I'm going to be identifying some key support and resistance levels, and we're going to take kind of a forecast out towards NIO day. So again, key support at that $39.50 mark. Let's see if I can draw it in here. Right, and let's drag it out a little bit here so we can tell a story with it. And then let's get that resistance level in here. So very key resistance level, I'd argue at about that $49 mark. Why do I say $49? It's because it's hit it multiple times, right? Just to show you guys kind of how to find these. So it's hit it multiple times, and it's hit it multiple times recently. So that's why I'm calling it a key resistance. Otherwise, right, I would call these resistance, or some of my question why not up here. That is my reasoning for it. These were more recent, and it has done it concurrently. So anyways, let's delete these circles. Okay, now let's zoom in just a little bit here. All right, so we have NIO day coming up. This is when we're going to see NIO day, this range here. Okay, you sticking with me? Here's the resistance level, here's the support, here's NIO day, here's current today's price right here. Now, I would expect some time before NIO day. It depends on how they want to strategically do this, because maybe they will, coincide this data with NIO day. But I would expect December delivery reports to come out potentially, I would say within the first 2 to 4 days of the month. So with that being said, that's about here. Now we're starting to approach that region. What could happen here, right? So here's where you have to use imagination here. First of all, I need to see what will happen here. I need to see if we stay within this bull flag pattern that I talked about before. I'm going to draw that back in. I need to see if we can break this. If we can break that, I think we continue to shoot back up, right? We shoot up this way, get tested around this resistance level, and then I think from there we just have to see what the charts are telling us. You know, I'm not a fortune teller. This is just going off probability, okay? So again, bullish flag pattern, let's say it's that. It shoots up, hits the resistance, and then we see what happens from there. Let's play devil's advocate. Let's play worst case, right? Let's say we're still in that head and shoulders pattern, right? Let's clear that out. So let's say we're in that head and shoulders pattern, right? A reversal pattern. Not good. It's bearish. It's not what we want. If it starts to creep back down, like I said, worst case, guys, worst case, I'm really, truly sticking to that 39.50. So again, we'll test here. Generally within the vicinity of a head and shoulders pattern, it'll be on that right side. I want to see if we can break through that support, and I want to see if we can break through this, you know, support of this 180-day SMA line. If we break through these, it's a little significant, but again, I think worst case, if it climbs all the way back down, worst case, we lose about, I don't know, 15%, about that $39.50 mark, and it's going to take time to do that, possibly more than likely. So those are kind of the two scenarios I'm playing. I think there's a lot leading up to this. I think there's a lot of momentum behind this. I think the market's been trying to push this stock down, but there's too many buyers in it. There's too many believers, and that's why it's staying strong. This is usually the conversation with like Tesla stock. Like Tesla stock, if you look at it, valuation, everything doesn't make sense, but it keeps going up and up and up. It's because you have your newer investors, your new millennial investors, you know, they're sticking to their belief system. And a lot of people believe in NIO. So I hope this video helped you out. Like it if it did. Hit that shit as usual. Comment below if I miss any details, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. What you get is weekly uploads from yours truly. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and happy trading.